Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It is time for the finals here for the Hyderabad stop of the Cobx Masters 2018 Team Wipeout, who basically stomped their opponents yesterday, more or less, against Team LoL, who also looks very good, but they took a little bit long if you look at the game times up against Team Advade. We certainly had some good games, some interesting strats, with like Bloodseeker Zeus making an appearance, even a Drow Ranger strat with some minus armor from the Slaughter. Things that we don't see all that often, but we've also seen some familiar faces like Sanking, Windrunner from both teams here. So won't be too surprised to see these kind of heroes highly contested. My name is Dragon Drop, happy to bring you this series. I'm happy to be joined by the one, the only Mirana, also known as Potem. How are you doing? You're muted. That's how you're doing. Excellent.
Perfect. There we go. Missed the button. Clicked it twice, missed twice. Nice. But yeah, I'm doing good. You're right. Was just talking about Wipeout on Team LoL. Wipeout having a little bit of an easier journey, you could say. On Team LoL, they kind of prevailed, you could say. They had a really hard game. Like they almost lost it in one of them. And we could have gotten to game 3, but in the end, they did manage to pull through with the tour. But a little bit curious how these will stack up. Like Wipeout was super solid when they played against Biscayne yesterday. They have a super aggressive style, and we see that right off the bat with the first pick, Undying coming in. And you see the bans as well. Like they banned out Shadow Shaman, they banned out the Scarif and the Doom. That's 3 heroes you usually don't want to see in like any kind of duo or defensive trial lanes.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I mentioned the Windrunner. I mean, this is a hero that Wipeout have been using to great success in the series, but now it's snagged away by Team LoL, so they now have to show what they can do against that hero. And Undying is certainly a decent enough start. I mean, Windrunner doesn't have the highest health pool to begin with. If you lower that down even more, then just an errant nuke or two could just be enough to burst her down if they end up in the same lane together.
They do need a nukes for that, though, and prominent heroes that would come to mind is Sand King, but still being in the pool. I think a Sand King Undying lane is just so good against against the Wind Ranger. Something, but hey, it's a Disrupt instead. Okay, that's a hero that can harass her even in the Wind Run.
Yeah. And more importantly, almost, you can just counteract the Wind Run by just glimpsing her back after she used it, or just by keeping her inside the kinetic field. So I really like this pick already. Especially with the Undying, right? Undying has the one thing that he's missing is the ability to make people fight around him. Doesn't really have too many slows. Doesn't really have any good ways of keeping them around his tombstone. So Disruptor really very much solves this issue.
Yeah, I agree. This Disruptor really just good at keeping people exactly where they are, because why bother running if you're gonna be sent back anyways?
Yeah.
And Wind is kind of that hero that serves both roles. She likes to run around and makes a lot of damage, but if she can't run, she wants to stand still. And just the synergy between Undying and Disruptor, as you said, just helps preventing the Wind Ranger from going out of control. But not sure if they want to put the Wind Ranger in the core position just yet. We only had the first pick. They're going with the second now. Already burning through a little bit of the reserve time. Yeah. Well, would be that hero for them. I think they need another flex pick here. Sand King's still there. Just saying. You know?
Yeah. I'm expecting either Sand King or perhaps Warlock here. Just have some extra sustain to throw against them.
Yeah, Warlock would be a nice idea as well. Could go with something a little more risky, going down the route of Nagasaran or even Dark Willow, just to have control, but Dark Willow isn't the best against Undying, super squishy.
Oh yeah. Nagasaran, if they don't actually pick them, then they should probably ban it out, as Wipeout is one with the first pick. I mean, you already have the Undying, so it's maybe a little bit less likely.
Jakiro, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a good combo with the Disruptor, with the Undying, just as a setup, and for Tombstone to stack up zombies. On the flip side, I mean, Team LoL, if they had picked it up now, they could have just used the song to get rid of the Tombstone and basically nullify a lot of the Undying's impact in these teamfights.
Yeah. 10 seconds. Then I did decide to go with the Jakiro instead. Don't completely agree with that pick. I imagine you're quite different there, but I think from a game perspective, Jakiro doesn't offer you as much already. Looks more like a Jakiro 5 Wind Ranger 4 though, so they go to do a support pick.
Yep.
I highly doubt they would reveal their position 5 that early if they can go for the second position 4 and another flex pick.
I mean, if I have to be completely honest with myself, even though I love Jakiro, he's not always the best choice.
5 seconds remaining.
He isn't as impactful as some of the other heroes just because he's rather slow and sluggish in whatever he does. So he basically tags on to whatever your other heroes are doing. When it comes to just follow up with Ice Path, just harassing a little bit more with dual draft and whatnot. But he's not really one that actively goes around makes things happen himself, which is something that Wipeout heroes certainly can be doing already by themselves, as we have Bloodseeker ban. So
yeah, we have a Bloodseeker ban. What do you think will happen next? Wanna take a guess? I'm smelling Mr. Pangolier coming in. Super good pick against Windranger. Rarely takes any damage. You're a little bit squishy early on, but if you manage to get farm against the wind, you just absolutely destroy her. You can go for pretty much any item. Diffusal, great. Maelstrom, great. Brewmaster works as well. That goes into the direction of a Pangolier. Lots of space making in the front line and basically being invulnerable.
Yeah. Big ass teamfight ultimate, essentially. That's what it comes down to. Brewmaster, very powerful with that primal split. In the first 20-30 minutes of the game at least.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and another hero that can keep people inside of the tombstone, inside of the undying area, just by tornado up. You don't want to abandon your teammate. You have the stun going up and running. They still talking about stuns. They still like that really hard disable. The one thing that goes through through a potential BKB. So Nikes might be a prominent pickup or jug for Team LoL.
Could be. They'd have to pick up another
Radiant
hero to really deliver him to the front lines, I think. Front Faceless Void. I actually like this one.
Yeah,
Wind
that's a
Tornado
really
hero.
good
Yeah, already heroes that can put in some extra damage into the fray. And one good way to prevent the Brewmaster from ulting, the Undying from stacking up strength and healing, is to just lock them inside the Chronosphere, burst them down before they have a chance to press the spells in the first place. Has to be a little bit careful about the Disruptor, but glimpsing him out of the Chronosphere and just essentially wasting a lot of his time.
5 seconds
Beyond
remaining.
that, should have a decent enough game.
I think Void is an excellent pick because this Void pick allows the Windranger to become a flex pick once more beside that definite offlane Ranger. Because now you can run the Void in a semi-dual lane where you pull a lot. Void also gives you the option to go for a secondary support if you want to put the Windranger still in the offlane, like picking up a Witch Doctor, which is a good hero against the Brewmaster, for example. So I really like the Faceless Void. It holds the lineup together so far, and they still have two picks to completely play around with.
Yeah. So if you're Wipeout now, how concerned are you about the Faceless Void? You change up your own plans? You trying to find a counter? Do you just continue building your own synergy?
I think if you wipe up, you just stack up on teamfight as much as you can. You need one definite answer to the Void. Heroes like Slark or any cheeky picks like Brute just fall out of question because the Chrono is just too strong to deal with. So that's a solid pick, you could say. That's more teamfight, that's more sustainability, that's pretty much everything, and doesn't fall victim too easily to Windranger. So that's a solid pick. I think what they severely lack is that big impact carry that just allows them to run over someone.
Yeah.
Be it... What could it be, actually? I think it's a troll.
10
Looks like a troll game.
Troll wouldn't be too bad. Getting a blind chance if we can
5
get close enough to the
seconds
Windrunner.
remaining.
Or even just the Faceless Void if he gets off on top of you, makes it a lot harder for him to actually secure these kills until he gets this crazy amount of attack speed items, with some Maelstroms for some extra procs that go through. But we'll have to see. Dragon Knight for sure, as you said, solves a lot of the problems and
Radiant team
fills a lot of the
X.
gaps they have had until that point. Most importantly, the pushing angle. None of the other heals really hit towers all that well, so having the Dragon Knight's pretty good in that sense. But you're up against the Shadow Fiend, one of the better heroes. If you have to be very careful about not letting him stack up these raid stacks.
Oh look, it's the Void, it's the Faceless Void Chrono Super Show. We're just dropping everything into it. I like that pick. It counters out the Dragon Knight immediately. Wipeout has to think, do we put our Dragon Knight into a safe line now? Because if he goes mid, Shadowfiend is one of the only heroes that consistently kills them throughout every level. Like, as soon as he reaches level 2, he just triple raise every time. For every time you go for a last hit, you take so much damage you can't control. And with Jakira and Windranger in the field, there's 2 stuns that could rotate in if needed. They still keep the 5th position completely open. We don't know if there's another offlaner for Team LoL. If this is really the Windranger on the offlane, they might just as well go with someone like a Beastmaster. And interesting enough, Team LoL banning out the Lifestealer and the Juggernaut now, so full anti-magic damage banned out.
Yeah, curious to see what they want to round this out with now. I'm expecting an offlaner here of some description. Wouldn't hate Beastmaster. Doom is actually also still in the pool.
I'd say Sand King. It's still there. You can flex between Wind and the Sun. It gives you more teamfight. That's exactly what we want. Good frontline. Slardar would be there as well to reduce the armor from Dragon Knight.
Oh yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Slardar, Sand King. Who else is really there for them? Could be a Bristle, but not too big of a fan.
I think they need, like, right now, a lot of it is predicated on both the Shadowfiend just getting off to a good start and getting everything he needs, but also the Faces Ball Chronosphere just hitting and winning you the team fight outright. But if that ever doesn't happen, that ends up being on cooldown.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Is the Bristle
That's the first.
The thing is, right now, the weakness that I see is if the Chronosphere is on cooldown, all of a sudden Team LoL seem a lot less dangerous. Because then Wipeout, they don't really have, if they don't have to care about the Chronosphere, they can run in at will with Brewmaster. Disruptor can have more time to set up his own spells. And for that matter, like if he keeps an eye on Faces Void, if he just jumps in, he might be able to get the Static Storm off before the Chronosphere can come out. And like this game's not as easy as it may sound, especially with the Bristleback, who doesn't provide any secondary teamfight control. And now the Viper, yeah,
that's a direct counter. Yeah, they want to get rid of Bristleback, and that's the Dragon Knight for the safe lane. They're putting the Viper mid. Yeah. And I was about to say, you better not pull this into your Faces Void Aghanims discussion, but yeah, you're right. Like the moment they don't have a Chrono, it's the moment where they just run. And there's Viper, Brewmaster to prevent them from running, Dragon Knight to initiate from long range, Disruptor to pull them back. They can't pretty much, they can't turn around. The moment Team LoL turns around, tries to run to safety, you get glimpsed, you get Brewmaster lifted, you get Viper ulted, you get Dragon Knight jumping you, and you're sitting in a tombstone and you just die.
Yeah. So, bottom line, like, I do like LoL's lineup if they actually are able to execute every single time, or alternatively just manage to stay away if they don't have their abilities available, especially if he's counted out naturally. So I do want to give that advantage overall to them on the Radiant side here.
I agree. I think Bristleback only works if you pick him either first pick and you sacrifice the lane from the very beginning with a definite plan. You have a Wisp in your team to buff him up, or you pick him on the last slot in the entire draft when you have the last pick. Otherwise, Bristle is just not going to work. Even without the Viper, he will struggle. There's an Undying and a Disruptor to play with. So Undying will reduce his HP pool, Disruptor throws Thunder Strike on him, and then basically you don't have HP anymore. And I like what they're doing, putting the Bristle back top already, so the game with potentially dual lanes with Void Aggressive. That is the right move, but still.
And yeah, I mean, as a result, I've seen this matchup go both ways before. It's really going to come down to the skill and being able to outplay your opponent. And
well, I would argue that the corrosive skin, it is pretty good against the Razors. It's not the best in the world. It was better before they slightly nerfed it.
It's not enough to keep you alive if Shadowfiend is determined.
He needs one extra race, basically. He needs a 4th race or an extra hit to kill you. It is worth it only for the return damage if you only catch 1 or 2 raises, but... Oh, that's a DK stun.
Half dragons up against one-handed dragons.
And raptors.
Disappointing. Yeah.
And zombies. They're rotating the entire top lane to bottom, and they still put the Void up against the Brew. I don't think that was the plan. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, Brew's pretty good against most melee laners here, just with Drunken Brawler. Next point will be probably up into Drunken Haze, just spamming that out on the Faceless Void. At the very least, you have Jakiro who can kind of harass him, more or less. But you also have a decent enough health pool to work with that you can just shrug it off for a while.
I think what Team LoL actually planned for is that the DK still stays in mid and that they're gonna face a Viper bottom, and this is why they so drastically changed the lanes now. But even now, there we go. Like, you use Undying once, 8 DKs from the DK on the Bristle, one Thunderstrike, and look how low he is. 400 HP.
Well, at the very least, he'll get a lot of value out of that tank that he's munching on.
Yeah, it's perfect. And that's how you play against Undying, right?
Yeah. Those Undying himself, those 2 mangoes to work with, so plenty of DKs left in the tank, and he has to be very careful, especially sitting at level 1. You don't actually have that passive, and yeah, you might just be dead here. Beautiful Shackle though. Keep them away.
Still don't know how these hit. Never works when I do it.
Well, it's just Windrunner, you know? Whenever I play Windrunner, I throw the exact same Shackle and it doesn't latch on anything.
Yeah, or it latches to the tree for some reason, not the 2 heroes. It's like, I know. I hate Shackle. It's an infuriating spell.
If it ever worked. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a feature that unlocks with like 5k MMR, and before that, it just can't latch.
Well, White certainly
He
has
just
that.
dies.
Doesn't protect him from actually dying though. You talked about it in draft as well, right? I mean, Blizzback, bad enough to have him stack it up, but Windrunner also was on receiving end a lot of these DKs. And I mean, right now, 500 health points that without any DKs on top of him. So you can imagine how much health he actually had available. Before
I think it was 280 or something he had on the server run, and then one Thunderstrike basically killed him. And well, keep hoping. He's getting aroused as well.
He's gonna be dying. The right clicks, Thunderstrike, and the free fire.
May the elders carry you to
Absolute disaster lane for Team LoL.
Yeah.
Wipeout is just wiping the floor with them here.
Yeah. There's really no other way to say it. They're now bringing down the Jakiro, which doesn't leave you with 1v1 up top, certainly favored towards the Brewmaster, and you see it already. Level 4, facing Void level 3, which is with Jakiro soaking as much as he has without really being able to zone out his opponent.
Talking about zone out, the Viper, level 4 now, he's gonna start zoning the Seraphine to the maximum.
And the poison attack, couple right clicks, yeah.
Yeah, that 15% from the magic resist saved the Viper in the end. Well, to be fair, it's only level 2 race, so it doesn't do as much.
Yeah. I still need to have enough region to keep yourself healthy as Shadow Fiend. Don't make this trades. Another Shackle will connect. And the Undying has some heals to work with. A stun onto the Bristleback. They're still committing into the fight, even though it will start to stack up and hope. It's not quite dead just yet, but Amira on the Dragon Egg will be still fine. I'll just tank it all up.
Thanks.
Yeah, so top lane, Brewmaster, 23 last hits. 24 now. 14 to the Void. So Void is even losing his own safe lane. They lost the off lane, trying to make a move in Undying, but yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, this move doesn't really make any sense. Bring the Jakiro down here, especially because you see this Undying. Undying really loves having tri lanes up against him. The only thing he would love more is quad lanes or all 5 heroes up against him, so he can just stack up his decay. And this is not going better with the Jakiro here. It's not the perfect lane support in these situations. They're getting some spells out, another Shackle, they keep connecting. But they've already lost the Bristleback again, and Pawn trying to get in range for, for a glimpse. But instead lighting himself up for a power shot. So it's a bit of a misstep, just as I was praising the lane. But,
Only they had at least one return kill on the Wind Ranger, which for her, but still, all their lanes are an absolute disaster right now. The mid lane is losing, the bottom lane is losing, the top lane is losing. It's just Wipeout all over the floor.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when you win all 3 lanes.
well, at least Shadow Fiend is keeping himself close in terms of CS, but that one dash certainly doesn't work in his favor either.
There's free money laying around it, nobody's taking this. This is triggering me. This is like my pub games. It's like, oh, by the way, runes spawned. Ah, they're probably gone.
Yeah.
Not like Void.
Yeah, I can definitely understand Brewmaster not wanting to leave the lane, but Void, I mean, he's not getting much here anyway, so might as well go pick up runes. And instead he might just die. He still has time walk available, so holding on to the max.
When he walks so long, so late.
Kills everywhere else while that was happening. Oh man. And doesn't actually have the self, so he has much on the field tangos. He cannot even contest Pinkman now.
Yeah, I think Pinkman is just stomping all over this lane. He still has the split available. As soon as he sees the Void jumping, might... I don't think he even needs it. He just corners him. Oh, no, there we go.
They're safe and sorry for the stun. Couple of right clicks.
Nice block.
Yeah. Very easy kill. Down
He's
bottom,
gonna do a lot of
another
time
stun,
damage.
another couple of right clicks as I completely lag out. I'm still in the game.
I have been shafted as well. But
I mean, it's probably
back
just
in.
Dota saving us from this this NSFW content that's happening bottom lane. Shackle actually Dragon Lane, super low, but I can't actually get close to finish the job. Chikiru with the double damage and Miedo just walking up and the stun, another right click, another kill. Power shot, well, himself up nicely enough. That's a third solo kill in mid. Clown, I mean, if you've learned anything, then that he's a pretty good mid player.
yeah, you especially once the Viper has a level advantage over you, you just have to leave the lane. You just, the moment you walk into Viper Strike, even just a slight misstep for half a second, that applies the Viper Strike on you, then you're just dead. It's level 4 poison attack. It doesn't have a cooldown. It's also 40% slow, which is disgusting.
Yeah. Not to mention the more damage you have done, the more damage his poison attack does as well. So that's certainly something the way you, if you get caught up by that, you have to TP out immediately and hope for the best.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you've been harassed down a little bit before that, then that might not even be enough for Shadowfiend.
The problem with that is you need at least like 25 to 30 seconds to walk back to your lane, and then you have 20 seconds of last hitting and face the Viper again.
Yeah. So, what is the response to this? I mean, they have a Chronosphere now. They don't really have much to combo it up with just yet.
Response-wise, they can make some chrono plays, but we see Jakiris sitting on level 4. Shadowfiend did not pick up the ultimate yet, and he still wants that level 4 Necromastery. So it's gonna be a while before they have any meaningful burst damage. Void himself cannot lock down a kill on anyone. Brood, both the Brood, the Dragon Knight, and the Viper are such tanky targets, and then you have to deal with the Undying. So maybe you smoke, try to find the Disruptor lingering in mid. They see him right now sitting here, so that prevents the nothing rush. Get a smoke on the Courier, stack up your Shadowfiend and your Faceless Void, and just rotate towards the Disruptor at point mid.
No, still sitting around up top. Pawn making a rotation. He has to scuttle up a ward though, I do believe, in mid lane. As yeah, Pinkman just continuing his domination. Level 9 to level 6 of the Faceless Void. Cannot
He doesn't even care about him on the lane.
Here we go again. Ice
My
Path.
lane.
Dead. Drakes against dragons. The Drake wins this one. The Shackle, Wolfneck, Power Shot. A little bit of damage, but Raindrop's protecting Pawn. And now can go for a glimpse. Right into the loving arms of the Viper. No way out for the Windrunner. But they do get the kill with the Shadow Fiend. Let's feed back in. And Clown does not want to stick around behind the tower, especially with the Faceless Void coming in. Very long TP that he cancels in the end.
I think he was afraid to the Brood. I don't know. No, he didn't interrupt. What happened? Maybe we should have followed through. He had level 3 time walk.
Yeah.
Could have been a close call. But yeah, taking a look at the last chart, 66 on the Brewmaster, 60 on the DK, 43 and 42 on the Viper and Shadowfiend respectively. So Shadowfiend got some farm, but that's due to jungle creep, so he's still sitting way behind the Viper. And the network just reflects that. All these 3 calls on Wipeout, they're just steadily ahead and gaining more.
Well, White FNG keeps finding these shackles to trees, so gotta give that one to him. With the pressure, yeah, it's gonna start now. Dragon Knight level 7. First ultimate use here, and with a catapult wave, they will be able to secure this tier 1 tower, no questions asked. At the same time, Viper putting on similar pressure in mid. The Illusion Rune helping tank up some of these creeps, so
Dire's bottom tower is
2
under
towers
attack.
will be going down almost
Dire's
simultaneously here,
structures are
if it
fortified.
wasn't for the glyphs. At the same time, they're gonna try and make a play up top. This Shackle again connecting. Brewmaster, can you get the ultimate off? You might have to, but the Chronosphere just in time. Extra raises to finish the job, certainly needed. They get a very important kill. At the same time, hope.
Dire's
Well,
middle tower has fallen.
that guy is still on level
Dire's
4,
bottom
so
tower
not
is
nearly
under attack.
as great of a kill as the Brewmaster was up top.
Yeah, just Chrono was on time. Almost got the ult. That would have been a disaster. Just imagine he actually get the Primus split out, and then the Chrono hits.
Oh, man.
Well, a little bit hesitant to actually to use it. But again, it's a 7k lead, 11 minutes in with a Viper and a Dragon Knight, and you know what Dragon Knight does? He just runs at your tires when he's ahead.
Oh, yeah. 40 seconds until another dragon form. In the meantime, comes up with the rest of his team. He just set up for the tier 2 tower pressure up top, so not wasting any time whatsoever. It's over 12 minutes in. These towers are already under threat, especially since they now know, hey, there's no Chronosphere for a long, long time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's 80 seconds of free pushing with a Viper. He does have the Dragon Lance, so he doesn't even have to move. He just sits as a tire range and just starts hitting it.
Look at the Brewmaster. Until just a moment ago, he
Radiant's
did
middle
have
tower is
the
under
Blink Dagger
attack.
queued up, but now instead he goes for the flats, which to me is another indication that they
Dire's
just
top
want
tower is under
to fight
attack.
right the hell now.
Radiant are scanning.
Interesting, we don't see any Dominator just yet.
Shackle connecting, holds it from FM, holding on to it for a little while. Jervis still alive, cannot get the tombstone off and gets raised down, but FM is still under dropping here with Clown. Good job on his arch nemesis, and as Bristleback, well, he gets broken, so no extra quill. Clown still dies in the end, despite the static storm, despite everything else. With some couple of very good kills, but it's not gonna be enough. Beautiful Shackle onto a crit though, not onto actual pink pin. Still crits him down after the stun connects. So 4 for 2 trade or something like that in the end.
Yeah, and it's 4 for 2 lead, and slightly 300 gold lead for Wipeout in this fight. But most importantly, they have the tower that's added on top of that. Meaning they still made a lot more money here. They keep making pressure.
I think the biggest win there was for Lol. Get that experience, just like searched up. He was level 4 just a moment ago, and now he's up to level 7. Back in that fight.
It's like killing somebody with a godlike streak and you suddenly have 6 levels.
Still there, Brown pushes out. They do get the disruptor. So stuns onto FM. Need a little bit of extra support though. Brewmaster alone, I don't think he can really. Well, he's certainly trying his best. Can he kill FM here? He can. Wow, that's actually quite impressive.
But he loses.
All 5.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, he should still end up dropping here with 4 more heroes running him down, and no attempt made whatsoever by the rest of his team to catch up. Instead, they get themselves a tier 2. And even then, he still takes quite a while to kill.
Space created. Call him Justin. Just in time.
Oh man,
Just that split duration.
Invest. They see him coming in now. They got down the ward as well as the sentry. Shadowblade into a Dragon Knight. Going for the Maelstrom next, and well, no matter getting these kills, it's still just an avalanche rolling your way slowly but surely.
I mean, they're holding the line right now on Team Wall. It's still 7k. It hasn't grown, it hasn't fallen down, and that's with 2 towers down for the count. They get some experience. Void with the Mask of Madness finished, he can go for some light kills on the Disruptor and whatnot. Shadowfy with Drums complete, looking with the Shadowblade next. He's still very far behind. Same place to Wind Ranger and Bristle, but at least they hold the line for now. However, there is a Roche coming.
They have to give up a lot of objectives to actually make that happen. Including this goes now with minus armor to work with, gifting and dying to something, and here's Medallion. Which will make this possible, and they have a Chronosphere. If they knew, they could potentially contest. But would have been a very hard call regardless.
Yeah, that's hard call in the end. I think it would have just, even with the Chrono, it would just wipe against the Tombstone around the pit area.
Yeah.
He just can't establish himself. They even dropped it down prematurely on the tomb.
Some good warding though. Good defensive warding here with the Observer Sentry combos. Up on both high grounds here, left and right. So
Dire's middle tower
Shadowfiend cannot
is under
find
attack.
anyone sneaking about.
Bro, he's so rich. Full Vladimir's, and he's looking towards the Blink Dragon. Almost has it at 60 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like the dream.
Speaking of 60 minutes, it's about the time when the last remaining out-of-tier tower is falling on the Dire side.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
There's the chronosphere available for the high ground
Dire's
defense.
middle
No
tower
macro power
has
skill,
fallen.
but not up to put a point into that.
Radiant's bottom
See here at
tower
level
is
6.
under attack.
With the catapult here, that's not easily burst down by the spells. If they wanted to commit, they can. But ideally, they want to get a kill or two first.
There's too many dragons here. And wyverns and whatnot.
There's
Flying
no
stuff.
such thing.
Radiant's
No such
bottom
thing, man.
tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
There'd never
I
too
still
many
want to
dragons.
see a dragon draft.
Shackle not connecting to him in the middle. Just glimpse back onto the static storm onto the Shadowfiend. But they're not focusing on him. They're trying to burst down everyone else because they know he's already dead. Shrimpster comes in, but very little damage to throw in. Even the Disruptor not even dying just yet. Gets healed up by the Undying. And all of a sudden, 4 heroes on the sidelines. The fifth one lifted up into the air. Stunned up. Time mark off. And then full 5-man wipe. 2 buybacks already. They're kind of low on some of the heroes. Certainly low on mana on most of them, but teamfight win, no chronosphere, no nothing really to throw at them apart from power shots. They can still feel very comfortable continuing to push onto the Zrax. Despite everything being thrown at them. Right FNG, gotta be careful here, Clown. Still happy to right click away and even commit his own life with the agents if he wants to. He's sitting around and want to get hope. Quite get only now the Nether Fox enough mana for it, but walks straight out of it. Nice little double shackle again. Dragon Knight. I actually failed his life. Both can get a few more Cobx in, but beautiful kinetic kill, keeping them in place. Clown, well, as I said, he can certainly stick around and die if he wants to. The shackle not connecting this time somehow. No, Tombstone comes out and finally it is dropping down. Hope. A couple of zombies here with the extra bit of poison. We'll actually see him die into another buyback, into another glimpse as well. White FNG. That's a buyback, still only 35 seconds on the sidelines here with low death timers, but this push still unrelenting. Another stun, another static zone just to make sure the Void cannot come back whatsoever. They get the Rex denied, so good on FM. It's a moral victory at the very least, but they will still lose the full set here. And I don't know, I don't see this push ending. Pushing out bottom.
Yeah, me neither. This
Oh,
fight lasted so long, this is already the second dragon form coming up.
Greed,
Hey, they got the
right
racks
click
tonight.
Ruma
Free soul.
back. And just keep getting kills. Hope is just, again, that never talks to him, especially even without that. He's just dying way too quickly on the Brooklyn line. A shackle on the 2 dragons. Dragons and the Drake's cousin, if you will. Pawn. Lost control of Seal there for a second. Not exactly where he wanted to be, and that's when they finally decide to slow it down a little bit. They do have Blink Ruma's ultimate though. So if they wanted to, they really could continue to fight, but he decides to give them some quarter, but it's there. There's no Tombstone. He won't be thinking about it for a few seconds there, but
Yeah, didn't leave him to die in the end.
Yeah.
Wow, what a fight. That was a solid 3 minutes, I think. So
at
we
least.
started around, like, Roche down the mid lane, T2 fold, T3 folds, Rax folds.
Yeah.
2 dragon forms committed, like, that was my favorite. This fight lasted so long. He had 2 entire dragon forms and the cooldown in the fight.
Right FNG. Can be run at, but once again, this warding. It's not even being counted out. Like, it's some relatively obvious spots. So you imagine that Wipeout would be able to just plop a sentry down, but
Well, they had none of the drop. He bought it up there, but they never like entered this area before. They only pushed the T2 when there was no enemy in sight, and they pushed mid get for Roach, so they were never in range. But I'm sure they're gonna establish some vision control next. You're gonna see the Viper rotating in there under the sentry.
well, pushing 2 lanes now. The lane as well as bottom. Hope back, only short range, but inside the net toxic.
Yeah, Tox is
So
just
easy.
too strong to deal with. Especially for Bristle.
C3 tower not long for the
Dire's
world.
bottom tower
Right
is
click
under
down by
attack.
Clown. And gonna see the same type of fight again here. Brute Master with the primal splits, starting up FM. Extra minus armor, couple extra right click, just a good measure. Good drop down, Yabba-dabba-doo, Macropie completely ineffectual. The Dragon Knight focusing on the racks. Buyback was still available actually on the Shadow Theme. So he's trying to do what he can, but they're not even like
Dire's
not even making them
bottom
worried
barracks
a
are
single
under
bit.
attack. Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
This game seems very much over to me, just like the games against the opponent last time.
Yeah, 20k ahead, and Dragon Knight can't even take damage.
That comes in.
Full Reaver.
Side storms keep the spare in check, and he will die again. They have nothing to protect themselves. Nothing to throw at Wipeout.
There's
Dire's
literally.
top tower has fallen.
Yeah. This is just full laning disaster. I think they have to completely scrap their draft on Team Bull and go fresh into the next game. Because this was just